That one. What else do we have going on? Check a 1 2. You live? We good? We are live.
We're good.
We're doing it live. And
Hello,
Hello?
hello, what's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With Nery signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Welcome to the party, pal!
Steph, Uni Mayor Sr.
Yeah, I don't have to look cute for you.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
And Mike Mercadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hey.
Okay. Hey.
Hey everybody. Welcome to WUBRO, the internet show where friends talk shit. Or right? Like that's basically what this show is.
That's most podcasts, to be honest.
In all fairness, it is. I think that's the.
Except this one has a lady on it.
Has become. Ooh, yes, that's our angle.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Latino is kind of an angle, right? Like that's white guys. With
It is. I
microphones,
feel like.
ha ha. But we are white Latinos.
Exactly. Spicy white.
Spicy. Yeah, a spicy mayo. We are Chipotle mayo. I am a spicy white. Mike Mercadal, and with me as always is Steph Mayor Sr. I say with me as always, but I'm not always here. From
Busy man.
you know what, Nery is off in the ocean of. He's in the ocean of bad Wi-Fi. So we are holding down a fort. I was thinking about this before the show, and I was telling Steph, who is let's just say, in the WUBRO sphere, the most gettable celebrity that we could message right now and just invite on the show, right? So we could just like see who comes on, and this is.
I mean, go hit up. I'm thinking about comedians that have been on the comedians have been on the show frequently. Is what you're thinking?
It's tough because I don't know if Nery. I'm talking about like. They are in like I'm talking about a celebrity, like they have been on movies and television. Who engages with their fans in a way that I know somebody that maybe if they're like Jack Black. I feel like of all of the
if you
people
like
we
shout
would
it
send
out
stuff to, we could send a tweet like, "Hey, Jack Black, you want to come on our random talk show?"
You got a free minute?
Huh?
I don't know. Honestly, some of these people are such like roll of the dice. Like I feel like Jack Black is like that. I feel like Kevin Smith is like that. That if you were like
perfect.
I feel like if you hit him at the right time, he'd be like, "What are you guys doing? What's up?"
He'd be like, "Yeah, what's happening over there?" I'm literally gonna send him, and I'm gonna send him a link to the invite to come on to the show. Why not? I mean, what do we have
DM? Because if you
lose?
just tweet it, that means that complete strangers can see the link as well.
I know it's quite the gamble. I wonder. No, I can't DM him, right? No, he doesn't follow me. DMs are not open.
Who else? Who else would just be like, "What is this?" Let me go in there.
Well, you
What's
know
going
what?
on?
I'm just gonna mention him. I'm just gonna send a tweet. You know, hey, that Kevin Smith. What do we put in the message? My friend and I are recording a.
It sounds like a scam.
Yeah,
it sounds like a scam.
Let's make it sound like a lot like a scam, like super scammy, like when you would get those Nigerian prince emails and we'd be like, "My dearest and honorable friend." Oh yeah, I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it.
you can start it off with my dearest and honorable Mr. Black.
Honorable friend.
Who else? I'm trying to think of like
Kevin
what other
Smith.
celebrities are such roll of the dice people that they would be like, "What's up?" Matthew Lillard strikes me as that kind of person.
Ooh, yes, Matthew Lillard. I would love to have him on for D&D things. He's a huge D&D guy.
Right?
That's his world now.
Yeah. Speaking of,
Which
like, on that, there's like a few people from those D&D podcasts that are 100% those kind of people being like, "What are you doing? What's this?"
that would actually that's not a bad group to dip into, but I feel like you know what
It's a very
Matthew.
niche thing. I am obsessed with anything Dimension 20 or Critical Role.
Of course,
And
of
so I'm
course.
just like always like,
This is very different than the normal stuff that we talked to when Nery's here, because Nery is not into
yeah.
that stuff, and he would derail it with a joke of some kind. Arguably so. Like, who knows how marketable it is to sit here and talk about Dungeons and Dragons, or shows where you watch.
But you know what?
people
I
play
would
Dungeons.
fucking love it for an hour and a half. For an hour and a half, I'd be like, "This is great. Let's talk about imagination."
Yeah, I'm free sometimes during the day where I don't know what time it would be over there for you, but we could figure out just literally like this week in our D&D obsessions, and then just talk about our our D&D shit. But
you know something I
Nery,
did this week? Something really dorky I did this week. So I'm starting to try to I'm trying the fact that I need to preface it. That's how dorky.
To me, the biggest dork. You have to like kindly like. Well, I don't know. We're literally about to message Kevin Smith.
So here's context. I have been toying with the idea of GMing for like a while because I am desperate for a game, and that's how DMing happens. You're desperate for a game, you don't know anyone else is playing at the minute, so you're like, fuck it, I might have to do it. I might have to be the one.
Yeah, that's
so I was always toying with like how I would do it. And then I watched the intro to the newest little for anyone who's listening who doesn't know, there's this like thing called Critical Role. If you play D&D and don't know what Critical Role is, I don't know why. It's so it's massive. They're having like a short series at the minute where they invited a guest DM in, who is a DM I've been following for a little bit as well, who I'm fairly obsessed with, called Bernelli Mulligan.
Yes.
The man's brain is so fantastic. He's like, every single one of his villains and every single one of his campaigns is capitalism, and I love it.
It's hard
it's always capitalism.
For like it's hard to explain why this is engaging, but just to say, imagine if like one of the best improviser comedians, because he's a UCB college humor guy, like he's one of these like sketch and character, like he's one of those people that had the college humor thing, not that machine, had that machine died, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like auditioned for SNL.
He resuscitated it.
Like he's an SNL level like comedic actor, improviser, sketch performer. Like it's insane how talented him and that group of people are around him, and it's odd that they have that like they put their shit behind a paywall in the few years ago in the internet, and it's whether or not that's benefited them, who knows, but either way they've produced amazing content using all of those skills in the form of D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons television. Now,
I can't imagine how massive they would be.
It's genuinely like if SNL played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where it's fascinating to watch. There's like a lot of like serious moments, and it can be as exaggerated and high fantasy as people probably imagine people playing D&D is, because like people probably imagine D&D is like, oh, everyone's pretending they're in Lord of the Rings, right? Whereas these people are more like, we're on Monty Python, but we're gonna do Lord of the Rings level stuff.
I don't necessarily.
It's really.
It's hard. Look, I because I'm inside the world, so for me, it's hard to like think of it as Lord of the Rings when I've played D&D, and like in one of the games, I'm a robot wizard. Like it's clearly not It's clearly not Lord of the Rings. My games are clearly not Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. But I played a weird like demon scarred like forest creature. You know, like it's I'm not like you can do whatever you want, and in that world you can kind of put it all together and make like fucking like to tell any story with the mechanics of this game. And
Yeah.
as you know, Nery might be right to stop us from nerding out this hard. I just realized how niche this is. Like we need
It is.
we need like a nerd lifeguard who's like, "Hey, easy, too deep. Come back, too far."
Yeah. But like sometimes I kind of want to go into the deep end and be like, no, but
Yeah.
listen. And I think that's the hyper focus side of me, which is like, but I need to get it out.
Absolutely.
Like
so,
I need to get it out. I need to talk about it. But the dorky
he's
thing that I
great.
did was
What was
like
it that you finally did?
there was. So I put on this playlist, and there was this like really great. I have to figure out what that song was, but there was a really great song playing, and then like out loud, I started coming up with an intro.
You're like,
I'm like driving with my baby in the car. Yeah, I'm driving with baby in the car, and I'm just like, how would I? This sounds like something that'd be good to do an intro into, like, into a campaign.
You're literally like, this is a fun song. I'm going to build a world around it. Like,
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I came up with an entire campaign because of like a stupid lyric in a song, and I was like, ooh, but how would that work? And like the baby's like behind me just being like, and I'm like, I know.
Yeah, right? Here's the message I sent to Kevin Smith. At that Kevin Smith, my dearest and honorable friend, my friend and I are currently recording our live internet show and are not Nigerian prince scammers. One of our hosts is missing, and we'd love for you to replace him. DM for the link within the next hour, and then we'll see if he
we will totally run over if Kevin Smith decides to click the link.
I mean, what's the 100%. Worst that could happen? They say no.
Imagine Kevin Smith gets the link, and we're right at the end. You're gonna have to join us for an I'm Out of the Asshole.
Yeah, I would absolutely. Oh my god, that would be perfect. I have one that is like that I saved from in my in my photos, and because it's one of those. Am I the asshole? Clearly, the answer is very obvious, but it's like very revealing in the post. Maybe we should just do it now.
Do it at the top.
Do it at the top. What topic?
Oh
so what are some WUBRO topics that have occurred this week besides us nerding out over Brennan Lee Mulligan?
You understand how much I love this man.
Does Dave know?
Like, no, like his mind. Like Dave is very much like this. I know you want to be his new best friend. I get this. I understand.
Yeah,
like, you understand.
Chiquita always tells me, she's like, I'm just in it for the looks. So whatever. Yeah, someone else. I love your mind. Whatever. Just, you know. What?
Yeah.
What WUBRO like topics have we discovered? Are we talking about? Are you watching Kenobi, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? Do you care?
Yes. Yes.
That was such a non-committal. Yes, maybe.
I do. Like I do in the sense where like I am Look, I love Ewan McGregor. So like full stop, I'm always back into it when he's in something. I like that they actually continued with him rather than like, and now here's a new sub thing, and we're gonna talk about Obi-Wan. But like, no, we're literally gonna make you watch Ewan McGregor, who you just saw have the high ground, just smash down and be like, I forgot how to Jedi. Like
it's but you see, it's not that he forgot; it's that he's choosing to hide and pull away. Yeah, it's a bunch.
Yes. Which is
like. Yeah, there's so many, but people are being racist as fuck about the black lady on that show, where they're like, again,
like let her live. She hasn't done shit.
It's almost like cartoonish at this point, how racist it all is. Where even like Miss Marvel, the new Marvel show dropped today, and it's all
Oh,
about
God, I want to see it
Ms.
so
Marvel, who's
bad.
a Pakistani superhero that lives in Jersey City, who is an immigrant and has powers and idolizes Captain Marvel, who is Brie Larson's character, which people hate for some reason. And like it's
We know the reason.
exactly like for the average person, it's like, what is all the hate? Like why do you even feel that so aggressively about someone? And then it's like, yes, right, woman. And yes, right,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
immigrant, Pakistani, right, Muslim. Got it. Yes, these people are
yeah.
cartoonishly one-note racist. And the black lady, her name is Moses. She plays Reva on the show, and I can't remember what her last name is. Moses Ingram.
It's like a lot of these like nerds, and I say this as if I'm not one of them, but like there is a whole subfaction of people who are like, if it's not Chris Evans, it's nothing. Like they only want to see that type of person because that's
white
what
guy.
was reflected to them back in the day.
Well,
Yeah,
everyone
exactly.
wants a
Like
Clark
white,
Kent.
attractive, very specifically built dude who just reflects to them the things that they grew up with, thinking that this is what's like the ideal. Not letting themselves realize, like, hey, society also formed my ideals. I'm not matching up to them. Rather than me being upset about it, maybe I just deconstruct that a bit and just go, I'm an ideal too.
No, but my favorite is seeing how many people who are, I've been watching Star Wars forever, and this is, how dare they put politics into my Star Wars? And it's like, oh my God, dude, have you not been paying attention the whole time? The whole thing is politics.
He punched Hitler. Like, it's been politics since the start. Like, he hasn't stayed out of it. The whole point is that he didn't stay out of things.
Well,
like, that was his character.
I was talking about Star Wars, like, but clearly anti-fascism runs through the whole thing, as it was created by like Jewish immigrants and the whole comic book world. And then you get like George Lucas blatantly saying, it's like, no, America's the bad guys. America's the bad guys, and the imperialism of America's the bad guys. And then it's like, like Star Wars is a movie about religious terrorism. Like it's a small group of people who are devout blowing up a military installation of the common man. You know what I mean? Like it's and then they're like, oh, it's political now. It has.
There was a Senate from the start. Like there wasn't like not politics, and it was.
I have been here the whole time.
I mean, it's literally about a regime and rebels and like this whole. I don't know.
Literally a rebellion. But it's amazing like how people mask it. Like I had a conversation about how I didn't like the sequels, right? Like The Last Jedi. I'm okay with The Force Awakens because I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then The Last Jedi, I was like, what? Like there was a lot of weird dialogue choices. But the same way that people have short memories, people like love the prequels now, and the prequels were pretty trash too. Like they were not great. But everybody loves
like everything has been made for people. I know. Everyone, like, anything that becomes a trend is what it gets glorified again. Everyone keeps quoting Kenobi from back in the day because, like, here you go, TikTok, things like that. Like, they've had fun with that soundbite of, like, I have the high ground, and little, like, snap bits of things that he said because he was a fun, sassy bit in the thing. Next thing you know, in, like, a few years, they're going to be like, Jar Jar Binks was adorable.
Revenge
and the rest, like, everyone.
There are plenty of kids who liked it, and that's fine. And the thing is that
Star Wars has always been made for kids.
Yeah, there's Ewoks and stuff. People hated the fucking Ewoks too. Yeah, but
I love the Ewoks. Why? Because I watched Star Wars as a child. So yes. I look back at Star Wars and I'm like, I fucking love the Ewoks.
Is there anything
they made a little bit for everybody?
Yeah. Is there anything that like? I've been wrestling with this for a little bit, like, because like there's all that big push for like '80s nostalgia, and then so people will talk about '80s things, like, and I struggle with that mentality of that old man mentality of like I was there, and that wasn't like a universal experience. Like you watch Stranger Things, the new Stranger Things, my wife and I, we went to a Stranger Things experience in Brooklyn Navy Yard. Like they had this big warehouse where you went through a whole Stranger Things experience because the new Stranger Things season dropped a little bit ago, and then you go through and you know they try to tell you to like dress 80s and all that stuff, and then when you think back, like if you were poor, you dressed like the 70s,
Yeah.
because that's the clothes you had. You had leftover
Yeah, exactly. The
hand-me-down clothes.
hand-me-downs.
You didn't have money for the good, like flashy 80s clothes. It's like, oh, you're thinking about like rich white people 80s, not average poor. Like,
But that's what people are always thinking of when they do costume of a certain period, right? Because
Or
like people want to
nostalgia,
like dress
like
up like a Victorian
remembering.
area, so they always dress like bustles and the crazy stuff. Or like if you think about it, there was a whole period of time when we were growing up that any single time we refer to like the 50s, you would think like Happy Days or Grease, things that were filmed in the 70s. That was like kind of a weird, not a caricature, but like it was still a telephoned version of what the
Right.
50s was. So like it's the new generations will always just get snippets of what it actually was and be like, yeah, sure, I get it.
it's like the cowboy stories when you learn that all of that was like genuine fiction. Like there's so much of like what people think of as Westerns. It was like, that is our version of the like Zeus, like mythology. Like it's literally just tall tales. That like none of that shit ever happened the way it's supposed to happen. So when I was watching Stranger Things, I was like, man, wow, I'm feeling really nostalgic for like the music, especially like because that doesn't change. The music was there. The music was great. Everyone had a radio and everyone could listen to the radio, but there's like other shit where like now that the like vaporwave colors, like all of the blue, the red and blue, like the fuchsia and blue neon, we got it in the logo. We have it all over the place.
Yeah.
Like that. I love it. I love the aesthetic. But in my mind, I'm like, I don't remember that much of that. I don't remember like maybe when you went to like out to like I remember like maybe at Castle Park.
Yeah, I was
Maybe at like a fucking maybe I wasn't
go to Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels maybe.
Go to like
There was plenty of blacklight stuff. That I will admit. There was tons of blacklight stuff because it was left over from the 70s.
yeah. Look, the 80s was just the 80s was just getting the 70s stuff and like making it heightened.
Yeah.
And then adding a bit of like
because you're too
I don't
young
know,
to
like
have
cocaine fueled design in the mix.
Did you say cocaine?
I said cocaine fueled
Cocaine.
design.
That's my favorite pronunciation of cocaine is cocaine.
Yeah.
Do you, but you're too young. Like you're like not too young. I mean that's a judgment.
Fine.
Yeah, but you're
Okay.
But you're like I wouldn't call you an 80s kid.
No, I mean I was born in the 80s, but no, my
but that's
formative memories. My formative memories are more the 90s than the 80s.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Top Gun, it was #1 at the box office. We're in like a weird Cold War with like a proxy war with Russia. It's like, yeah, man, it's 1986 all over again. Let's do it. You know, like, yeah, rock and roll. I remember like being a kid. Is there anything from the 80s that you wish you had? Like now that the nostalgia's kicking in?
Ooh. I was pretty fortunate with some of the like toys, and so I still got to enjoy the like skating stuff that was massive everywhere, and I got my Teddy Ruxpin, and my Care Bears and the things.
That shit is a nightmare fuel thing now. If you think about like Teddy Ruxpin,
it didn't live very long. It didn't last very long. My Teddy Ruxpin magically disappeared.
Why?
Because it's terrifying, and it would talk to me at night.
Man, I remember we had like it was basically just a Walkman in a teddy bear, and then you play it and it would read you story. You put the tape in and it would read you stories. We used to put like music in there, like actual like tapes to play it in there.
Oh, cool.
And it would be weird, like a weird Michael Jackson tape, and Teddy Ruxpin would be like, and it would just be like, you know, it would be like Thriller or whatever. But yeah. Oh, Yolanda says, what does she miss from the 80s? My 120-pound body. Oh boy, Yolanda, we are all on that same page. I
miss that from the 2000s. I miss my 2000s body.
I've gained like 200 pounds since the 80s. How embarrassing.
Actually, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, I'm like, because I just made the crack about like, oh, I miss my 2000s body. I don't really, because I was still a child. Like I was still like in high school years and stuff like that. That's still like a child's body. Like I kind of, when I'm
Depends on
saying
the
more like, oh, the
child, I
weight.
guess. But like, like there's some people that have like, not because I
That's a
was
weird.
no. I was a giant man boy I was this big at 15. You know, like I was a giant. I was a man.
Yeah,
I
no, I mean more
still
in the sense of like
thought-
I curved out early,
Oh,
but it was still
we're specifically talking about ladies. Okay, fine. I guess I don't get included.
no.
In
What
the
I'm saying is like
conversation
your body still kind of like sits different when you're like younger and in high school and in middle school than like the moment you get to maybe in college.
What?
Like, yeah, there's a difference. Like I feel like you look different. Like the weight, even when you're at the same weight, still kind of adjusts and moves on the body.
Okay. I'm wondering
does.
how much to comment on this right now or to leave it alone. Is it right? Like, wait, I'm curious as to what you mean by. So you're saying like collagen, or is it like a baby fat versus?
Kind of.
curves
Oh, so like it is,
thing?
yes, because like with time, look, one, gravity's a thing for sure.
But from like
gravity
sophomore
comes from-
to junior year.
No, I don't mean like sophomore year. I mean like maybe like freshman year to like senior year of college. You know what I mean? Like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
I'm not
guess,
talking about
yeah.
like literally 1 month to the next. You're like, oh, that went over there. Like, no.
I will say this: some people put a lot of miles on that body in those years. It ain't the years; it's the mileage. Some people from 16 to 22 go hard.
Yeah.
Especially in Miami.
And then by the time they're like 26, you're like, bitch, you 34?
It's like they're like, I'm 22 years young. Like,
And you're like, how did you become an 80-year-old Jewish grandmother at the at the slots? Like,
yeah, I
in just like a 5-year span.
I work at Mikasuki. This is just from. You know how they used to allow people to smoke in Mikasuki? Do you remember that? Because it was like a.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that, but it was like people used to smoke in there. I remember I walked in there and I could not breathe. And I'm like, it was like that Seinfeld episode where Kramer ages from all of the smoking and the thing like so quickly. Some people live
Yeah,
hard.
you can imagine that's in there.
I feel like my vices at that time were, I wish I had never smoked cigarettes in my life. Like that's a big one. Like I wish I had never smoked cigarettes because that felt like so pointless and what a waste of money. But I didn't really have like drugs or even alcohol was, I guess, a thing, but it was like a 6 month.
You're never a binger.
No, I was a food guy. I was definitely a food guy. I had terrible eating. I was just talking about with my wife, where we were talking about how like when I was a kid. Oh, hey, my mom's on the chat. Hey, mom.
Hi.
Mom can attest to this, that we used to have, like, my great grandfather used to have this thing called Operación Plato Limpio, where not only were we pushed to clean our plates, it was a military operation. Like, you better eat all your fucking food. Don't throw anything away. It was like there was always starving kids in Africa that couldn't have this food, and I'm like, but I'm done with it. Give them the leftovers because I can't eat anymore.
I said the same thing when I was younger, being like, can we give it to them? I'm full. Like,
I am full. Do not make me eat
like,
anymore, please.
why are we keeping it? I don't understand. Like, as a child, I was just like, why aren't we helping them? I don't understand what you're telling me this, so I can't help them. Like,
And
why are you making me sad over my freaking SpaghettiOs?
I'm done with what I've eaten enough
I was
of
like explaining to
SpaghettiOs.
Dave.
We were also talking about how like every comment about like health and like whenever some Hispanic family member sees you, the comments are all about weight. You look great. You lost a couple pounds. Oh, I'm a holla, or oh, you look great. You gained a little bit of weight. You look good. It's never an insult, but it's always an insult.
Yeah. It is, and like in Spanish, like even our nicknames are like flaca y gordo y like all these things that are like literally nicknames about your body.
Yes, flaco,
and it's supposed to be non-offensive.
Yeah, calling me flaco, like I understood what the point was. Like, I get it. Hey, I'm not suddenly Flaco because you called me that. It's one of those ironic nicknames. Like, if you would have called me Tiny or whatever, like, come on.
Oh God, yeah. Like, yeah, and then with women, I straight up like some of my family growing up, it was really like I like ganaste un poquito. Like, why? Why would you? I have a mirror. Like, stop like letting me know that you've noticed I've gained, and also like
that is the
I
exact
like literally
word.
had to like.
That is the exact word that my wife used that when someone told her something. They ganaste, like you won, because that's how I know that word. It's not that you gained.
Yeah.
It's you won some pounds. Like it's like it was some weird contest.
Yeah. Look, you know what the contest was against? Body dysmorphia. That's what it was.
But then you wonder, like, I always wonder what other cultures say about food, because there was this thing on the internet that was like going around, and it's total bullshit. And it was also like about how in certain cultures don't expect to be fed over a friend's house, and one of the major ones was Sweden, like the Scandinavian countries. It's not.
What was that? I just saw reference.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Do you like go?
Apparently, they would like. It's just understood that in order to avoid this kind of insult to your family, where like, they don't feed you enough at home, they just don't offer food. They just don't, like, it's off the table. And there was one guy, there was like a couple people that posted, and one guy was like, yeah, I remember times I used to go over to my friend's house, I would have to sit in the other room while they finished dinner. And I was like, that's fucking bull. And then you look under the comments underneath, and they're like, oh my God, yeah, me too. Oh my God, yeah, I'm from Finland. Oh yeah, sweet, yeah. I was like, that sounds insane to me because of cultural differences.
Yeah. Like, you listen to that and you're like, do you just not like this person? Like, I would just feel so like, I'm gonna go home.
Yeah, but it's like, I have a granola bar in my bag for just in case. I am going to quietly eat,
But that's sadder. It's somehow sadder to be sitting in the other room, like, eating the end of like something was packed for you,
like carefully
just
opening
in case
up
they're eating
a Nature Valley granola bar where you're trying not to get fucking crumbs everywhere, and you're just like, hey, poof.
Yeah, because on top of that, you're on their good couch.
Oh no, yeah, I'm sitting in the room that nobody's supposed to sit in. That is true. Yeah. I don't know what the deal with that is, but there's the family room where you sit in, and then the living room that's for company that never comes. No one has ever sat in that fucking front room.
I have noticed that it's starting to, in design, since now I have the insight of like seeing a bunch of things that interior designers and architects design, it's more and more often now people are starting to phase that, like they've been phasing it out for years. The extra, like the good living room. They're just like, why? Let's have a game room. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, that's like some old school boomer shit. Like,
whenever our generation gets to have a house, they don't do that. Yeah.
What is your policy? What is your but yeah, like if someone comes over your house, you have something, right? Like
100%. 100%. Yesterday, I was shocked with David. We had literally had a friend over watching this thing called State of Origin, which is, it's kind of like our Super Bowl in the sense, so it's like it's Aussie.
It's not actually it's footy, right? It's like the Australian rules football.
Yes.
Super Bowl.
Yes. And it's between specifically our state. Huh?
What's it called?
Oh shit.
It sounds really official. It sounds like a government law office.
Yes, it's called State of Origin.
State of Origin.
It's where it's basically where all the people who are in differing teams in Australia go back to where they grew up, and then they play against each other. So people who are on the same team will be playing against each other. I say fight because realistically.
Oh, it's like the World Cup of states. So like.
So
okay. State of Origin.
But it's
exactly.
But it's only between Queensland, the state I'm in, and New South Wales, where Sydney is. So it's only those two. Don't know why only those two, but it's only those two. I think it'd be more fun if it was all of us.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so they only do it those two. We had a friend over for this. it was, we have a little kid now, so we're like starting the nighttime process. We're feeding him, having dinner. Like Dave heats up our dinner, and I look at him. I'm like, hey, like, did so and so, did he eat before he's coming over? He's like, I don't know, and I'm like, why didn't you check? And he's like, why would I check? And I'm like, because that's a thing we do. We make sure our guest is fed. And I'm just like, what if he's like, yeah, he'll take care of himself. And I'm like,
He'll take care
no,
of
not in this house.
himself.
I'm
Interesting.
Like, he shows up, and like we're literally sitting there eating dinner when he finally shows up, and I'm like, hey, have you eaten? He's like, oh no, I haven't eaten yet. Like Dave doesn't say anything. I'm just like, no, sit the fuck down.
Wow.
Just like going through our fridge and offering our food and be like, we have this, we have that. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I'll order something. No worries. The whole no worries thing. Oh, no worries, I'll order something. I'm like, no, you came over. I'm not gonna let you pay extra freaking Uber Eats if this is literally at dinner time. Your dinner time at our house, therefore the obligation is I feed you.
Yes, it was reversed in some other places where they were like, yeah, if you go over someone's house, you're expected to bring something. And I'm like, I get that, but it's usually to join the other things that are also being provided. Be like, hey, I brought a pie or something, or I brought some dessert, or I brought booze. And then it's like, for the dinner that will be provided because I'm hanging out, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But then there's other places where you're literally the one who brings the dinner.
Yeah, like it's like, hey, I'm here. I'm your guest and also your servant of some kind.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. It's like I am bringing the meal and myself, so host me with the things I bring. Weird. These are culture. These are culture differences I don't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was even those differences where I look at Dave and I'm like, I can hear like my mother and my grandmother and every other Hispanic in my family just being like.
But to you, it's weird.
You didn't feed him?
But it's not weird for like. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's little things that pop up every now and again when you're like, "What? What's happening? What'd you say?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
You don't do what?
Yeah.
It's not like a deal breaker, but it's weird. It's odd.
And there's plenty of things between us where I'm just like, there's a few things where once in a while I look at him, I'm like, we are so very much for different cultures. Like,
I mean, he's not spicy white at all. He is.
No, he is the OG, white as a sheet, like Caucasian, like specifically 100%, 100%. Mike, I've never seen it. Like, to me, it's shocking. I've never seen like literally the one section of the map colored in, just that one little pip. Exactly where he's from. It's right there, right the fuck there. And then I'm surprised that my son doesn't have a fucking tan.
Oh my god! We went to the beach, first beach day of the year on Saturday, and I pulled a rookie move, man. I did not put sunblock on my legs, and I have the weirdest sunburn. The weirdest sunburn, because it's like I fell asleep, and so my feet were out like this, and my feet went like this. So my feet, like where your toes point outward. So just like the inside of my calf and shin and the inside of my knee and a little bit of my thigh is, I would say, damaged. Like, it's not even sunburn. Like, it is like a burn. And because it was cold and it was windy and I didn't feel it.
That's the part of you that touches chairs and touches the inside of your pants and like
I am aware.
Thigh rubs and like
yes.
Have you just been like cowboy walking all week?
No. But it is sleeping on I'm a side sleeper, so I had to put a pillow in between because like the second my knees touch, it feels like the burn will stick to itself and I will just fuse into a mermaid type creature where my legs are touching. It is like rookie shit. Like, I'm born and raised in Miami. Like, that is rookie shit. And I fucked up. And now it's like, it all looks all weird. Yeah, whatever. Let's go to our Kevin Smith update. That Kevin Smith, we did get one like on it, but we have not gotten a response. I'm sorry to say. Who's next on the list? If you're in the chat, which is just my
we should just do that every single episode from now on. We just tag celebrity.
Let's tag a random. Let's say the first one that pops up on my feed. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I really don't think
Sure.
he would do it. I really don't think he would do it.
No, but if he did, we would see Nery spontaneously combust. Like we would sense it.
Oh, he would he would lose his mind. Oh man. So we got to do it. Let's do it. Let's try it. Why not?
You're like, what?
We'll check
Like a
back
true
in.
friend, I must tag them now.
Well, let's check back in with them later. Let's see how that goes.
How that's cooking.
I know. I wonder. That's the thing. I wish I could go into my following list, like to see like who I follow and if they follow me back, because then you can DM those people. And I wonder who's the most famous person that follows me. That's interesting. Let me think
There's
about
no
that.
way to do it. I thought you would think
There is
there'd be a way
see
to do it.
I know, no, but there is a way to see who follows me, and it's all like bots and shit or whatever. But or who knows? Like it's all just people I've met in my life. But I wonder. Oh, let's see if there's anybody verified that follows me. I don't know who Adam Heath is. I don't know who these people are.
Like, who are you?
Oh, Jonathan Mangum. Oh, I was on a show on a YouTube channel that he, I guess, is a executive producer on. Let's see. Ooh, yes, I did a D&D thing with her. She's great. Let's see. These are just. I mean, this is just horrible to listen
Look,
to.
if you would ever invite a D&D person over, like, onto the podcast, then do not expect for me to not completely go down the rabbit hole.
Well, you have to keep your ADHDs, your full 88 HDs of them, in check. You would have to do it because we would literally what is the hyperfixate on
Overstimulate? Yes.
Yeah, it would be. Let's see.
How do you keep your ADHD in check though? Let's start from this like the beginning.
Well, by playing,
how do I do that? I got 80 of them.
By playing Dungeons and Dragons. I will say.
Yeah, that is literally. I zone in so much. Like any time I like go into any hyperfixation, I'm just like, my brain goes.
You know what I found though? Like talking to someone about your D&D game is like trying to tell somebody a dream you had. Like,
yeah,
it does not matter to them. Like they do not care about the details. Like, you all right? You good? Yeah. Okay, that's all I need to know about. Are you having fun? Yeah. Okay. Space right? Robot wizard fight a dragon. You want to ride a dragon? It's like, okay, all right. You know, like that's like it's like oh.
But it was in your mind. You didn't actually do it, right? Like.
And then my gym coach was
like,
helping me build a shed in my yard, and it's like, what? You know, like it's like that. That's the line of logic that connects when I try to tell people about like, no, and then there's a whole the Tiamat, the dragon goddess of evil dragons, is trying to, and they're like, okay, all right, and this other people are with you. Are those other people in the room with us right now? And they're like, no, they're real people. We're human beings. We sit around the table and do dumb shit.
Exactly. Like sometimes we'll call each other in, but like, we'll summon each other with a phone. But like for the most part, we're all happening. It's all happening in person in our minds.
Yeah, I guess that's a good.
But see, that's what I like. I don't know. I guess like since I really like reading and like whenever I really delve into a book, I can really feel and get invested in the world. I like that D&D is a shared experience and letting other people take part in that with me.
And I guess
so to me, I feel like it's more connecting.
ADHD doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you can read a novel and write one at the same time. Like that's literally what you're doing. Like reading a novel implies that you have a path to follow, and your ADHD is just like, nope. I want to know where I want it to go this place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what D&D.
Yeah, it's like you choose your own adventure, but like you turn any novel into you choose your own adventure. Like you're reading a book and someone mentioned a creepy house in passing. You're like, but I want to go look at it.
I want to go look at the creepy house.
Yeah, and then you roll for that.
I cannot find any famous person that follows me. That I mean, look, I can't beat The Rock, but no. Yeah. So whatever. Let's do. What time are we at? Okay. Oh man, what was it that I saw that. I'm going to talk about. Speaking of ADHD, where you have to like go back.
What was
through,
I just doing?
Yeah, like okay, this reminded me of this, and now you got to go back through the apps that you had open to see what it was.
Bro, I know the tabs in your brain are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I always say that having ADHD is it's two things, because it can never be just the one thing. You're constantly playing a scavenger hunt with your past self, just at all times. She's laid out clues for you constantly, because you're like, where the fuck did this bitch leave this shit? Like the amount of times I'm like fucking past Steph, like in the day, because something is not where it was supposed to be. So I know past me put it somewhere equally clever that she thought was a safe place that future me would not forget. However, I am now at the moment, future me, bitch forgot.
Yeah.
So like I'm thinking like I have to start piecing it, and then that's where I dive into like my detective thing of like, well, now I got to go through and think of her intent, think of the crime, trace her steps, and figure out why. What was her motive?
First of all,
where did she put this?
This sounds like a great like mystery novel. It's like Memento,
Yeah.
but just a woman and her keys.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's just
pretty much. That's what ADD is, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's like don't trust Bob G or whatever his name is in the movie.
Yeah. Finding this camera stand here that I'm using right now took 3 weeks. It was right by my bed. It was
I don't
right by
laugh,
my
but
bed.
that's the thing, is that sometimes like you have to laugh where you're like, what's the thing I was going to be doing? And it's like the thing that's staring you in the like, what am I doing here? And it's like that. It's like right in your fucking face. It's almost
finding
like
a solution with my camera problem. In the end, like the other week, I literally stacked 3 shoe boxes on top of each other and put the camera on that. Okay. This was right next to it. This
like
camera
you just had to
change
your focus right over there. Do you find
100%?
Okay, let me ask you this: is Dave at all ADHD? Does he have any of the traits?
He has something. We don't know what it is.
Got it. Do you have?
We have a theory.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to HIPAA violate him here on the podcast. They've always said that, like, they're like, oh, you have like ADHD, like certain traits of ADHD, but I wouldn't diagnose you as ADHD. And I'm like, what's the fucking difference? I don't care.
It's just all the things at once. You have to hit all the things. It's just one of the things where like, so what about the people who are like ADHD light? Like, what about the ones who like have some of the things, but not all the things? How do they get help?
I also
or do they just get the stigma?
In the modern world, there is absolutely no way that you can't feel like that at least a little bit. Like, when my watch has a bunch of my Apple Watch has a bunch of notifications. Your phone's always buzzing in your pocket. You're always like getting I was thinking about that when
that shit's anxiety though. Like the modern world is completely made to give everyone anxiety, and anxiety has comorbidities with ADHD. So I just feel like
it's not the modern world. It's like it's like the natural world. Like, have you ever seen those animal documentaries with the fucking Planet Earth and whatever, that they have David Attenborough talking very calmly and very quietly about a sloth that's about to get murdered by a fucking eagle or something. The default setting in the world is anxiety. If you don't find something to eat, you're gonna die. And if you are something to eat, you're gonna die. You know, like there's like the default setting for the world is anxiety. So I'm always like, yeah, or I could be, one of those in that situation where like.
But you think that. However, I've met many neurotypical people who just don't. They just don't think like that. They're just able to function. They're able to just go through their day and be like, oh, I had this thing to do. I did it. I'm good now. I have this much time in my day where I can do this. Yeah, might as well. No thought no judging on whether they should be doing something else. No thinking that their life is going to implode if they don't get these other things on their list done. No, none of the extra they're just okay.
So
and it's maddening.
I think what you just described is a liar. They are full of lies. Their pants are fully engulfed in flames. That is bullshit. There's no way. There's no way. I mean, there are people that are more organized than others. Like I would say that I'm pretty organized, but like if you open your phone and you go on TikTok and you're bombarded with 20 videos in 30 seconds, you know what I mean? Like you're going to be like, you know. I'm not saying that.
See, but for me, I find it soothing. I find it soothing.
Of course you find it soothing because you have the broken brain.
I do. So for me, I'm just like, oh, your TikTok goes at the same speed as my brain. So it's one of those apps that I'm like, oh, I should have gone on this shit way sooner. Love it.
Have you? Is weed good for that? Because apparently they've legalized weed in Thailand. That's by you. Is that
not close enough? Not close enough.
Is that not a? Is
No,
that not like
yeah,
a weekend
we
jaunt
help.
for Australians to go to Thailand?
I mean, not during the COVID times.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah. Now probably, but also again, tiny human. But yeah, no,
These kids.
weed depending on the weed, depending on the strain.
Mm-hmm. It's okay, so
Yeah.
it does do something.
I've
never been a big pothead, but it's like
yeah.
I've always they always talk about
So-
weed strains, and all they do is like, oh, this weed strain does this and that, and they might as well just sound like the Charlie Brown teacher, and like because they all just make me sleepy. Like they're like, and this goes wah 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 wah
Yeah.
wah, wah, and then this goes wah. Wah. And I'm like, yeah, sleep, fine, good.
Yeah.
At a certain point,
Yeah. When people start
if I
talking about like
smoke
head
enough
high
of this,
versus body high, you're like,
I would lay down.
Huh?
You know who I need to talk? I need to ask
Yeah.
Yolanda, who said surprised that she survived the '80s in Miami. I don't think she was doing things that make you sleepy.
I don't think it. No, definitely not. Definitely the things that make you hey up and then keeping that 120 body.
Oh man.
But yeah,
Let's-
no, weed can help with some of the things. Like a lot of people who have ADHD also tend to have insomnia. So like
Ooh.
it'll help you get sleep. Like so it'll help you with some of the symptoms. It's not like hey, I used to smoke weed and I no longer have ADHD. No, I'm still distracted by shit, but I just don't care as much.
It's all symptom management. Here we go. Let's do an Am I the Asshole before it gets much too late. This post was deleted and taken down because, well, you'll see. Okay. Am I the asshole for making an ugly post about her? I've been crushing on this girl for years. We used to work together 3 months ago, but she recently left because she found a better job. We text here and there, but I decided enough is enough, and I'm finally going to make a move and confess my feelings for her. Are we seeing where this is going? I know she really likes this EDM DJ, electronic dance music for the older folks. So tonight I bought 2 tickets, backstage meet and greet passes, and after, me and her are going to hang out some more. The show was great. We were vibing really well. First of all, he dropped a ton of money. Like that there's no way that that's cheap. There's no way that that's cheap.
No.
Which you
No.
could feel the entitlement compounding. The show was great. We were vibing really well together, going wild, and I was having a blast. After the show, the meet and greet happened. Well, the artists started vibing really well with her too, apparently. She ended up bailing on hanging with me and decided to spend the rest of the night with the DJs. I am so fucking furious. I wrote a Facebook post on how she is stuck up and how no one should trust her. She hasn't seen it yet, but a lot of our mutual friends have and made comments on it. Did I go too far? Without any further information, this was what this man decided to post. This child decided to post publicly on a public forum as if, hey, that bitch, what a bitch, right? This is how he thought.
But what she
Yeah.
doesn't owe you
Step
any
one.
of her time. She didn't know you were she didn't know you were having you had some sort of built up thing in your head that you never like let her in on. So anything she's letting you down on is only happening in your mind.
I
Like
believe
if you were coworkers with her for all of this time, then she thought you were her fucking friend and shit.
I think,
Like-
but this is a perfect encapsulation of all of the things that happen when dudes get incelly. This is like a template. This is almost like you can fit every one of these things in there, and it's like almost. I feel like it's almost satire. Like it's so bad that it's almost like this is bullshit. There's no way this man could genuinely. But it gets worse because apparently he went through and started like defending himself. Oh no, they deleted his account. Shit, I can't read some. But basically, everyone's like, which is like a reaffirmation of you're not crazy when you see everyone in the comments like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, what are you talking about? What is it?
Yeah.
But apparently, they deleted it. But they were gonna. I wish I could find an archive of this, where basically that he was like, but I paid all this money. Nobody asked you to do that. But
No.
I was gonna tell her how I felt after we were hanging out. I was like, and everyone's like,
But you didn't, though.
That's super manipulative, bro. You should have done that before.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? That's on you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, but I was, and it's like, but why did you do the post afterwards? It's like, well, I was mad and I wanted everyone to know that she's banging these fucking guys. And I was like,
Why?
Is that business
But
of
why
you?
is it?
Right, exactly. You're just like a little baby who got his feelings hurt. And it was like,
You can't
it's like,
actually care about this person if you're wanting to put them out there like that.
this guy hit all of the things. Like I was
Yeah.
kind of impressed at how shitty this guy was. Like I was like, this guy really hit it out of the park.
This is commitment. This is real commitment here.
Real
and it was just the
commitment.
whole thing of like, at no point did he just try. And I know this is a recurring thing with
Yes.
anything having to do with Reddit.
Yes.
And I'm the asshole. At no point did he try direct communication.
That is a universal constant in this thing. But it was
because
it was like
could have saved
perfect.
himself a lot of time by like letting her know ahead of time, by not buying these freaking tickets for them. Like, yeah, look, usually if it was like an actual friend thing and a friend dipped out on another friend to go hang out with people and then didn't take that friend along and like stuff like that, that's usually kind of as like my friend bought me these cool ass tickets for the two of us and then I went off with the DJs and left them behind. That part I would have been like, oh, you should have kept your friend around. But knowing that said friend is only really upset because she was vibing with the DJ and you don't know if he like, wandered off on his damn self or anything and just was butthurt and walked away.
I mean, the people on the internet are like the people that fall into this category. And I almost did. Like, I remember being one of those dudes where I was like, oh, none of these girls like nice guys, before I was like, oh, I'm just a coward. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm afraid of getting my feelings hurt. That was a big discovery in my life. Yolanda says, it would have been cheaper to do the TikTok challenge of kissing your BFF. He would have figured out her feelings from that. She would have figured out her feelings from that for sure. He should not have posted anything. He should.
I love that she knows that challenge.
Oh yeah, like that's the thing. TikTok. There's lurkers on TikTok. There's some people who talk shit about. There's people like I know that are like, oh man, TikTok sucks and blah blah blah. But yet all of the TikTok references and songs, and you bring them up constantly. So why do you know all those things, buddy? Why do you know all those things?
Just admit that you like the app. Who cares? It's an app.
Whatever.
It's an app.
But yeah, that was one that I was like thoroughly impressed with.
My favorite is when people talk shit about TikTok and then they'll complain about the things that are on their feed, and you're like, that's literally for you. It's an algorithm based on your shit.
That's always my favorite conservative self-own, when someone like, look, they're advertising gay things for gay meetup apps on this website that is blah blah blah. It's like, that's a Google AdSense ad, and that's based on your search history. So
yeah,
I don't have that ad. Maybe, just maybe, there's something about yourself you should investigate before you get really angry at immigrants. Okay. Maybe.
Oh yeah, there is definitely times where their shit shot pops up on my TikTok algorithm sometimes that I'm like, is there something I need to figure out?
The answer is
Is there
yes.
something I have to deep dive on?
Well, the answer is you already know. The answer is like, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Like
I remember,
it actually is open up conversations, which is great.
TikTok is kind of like a mood ring for me now. Like it's like a mood representative
Mm-hmm.
where all of us like sometimes I'll be like, hey, these are all fun things that I'm fun, and then sometimes it'll be like, this is the downfall of capitalism and Western civilization, and eat the rich and bring back guillotines and all that shit. And then, and then sometimes it's like, hey, this guy's rolling his dice and making a sandwich randomly with the results from the dice.
I love that guy.
I love that guy.
I love that guy.
And then literally like 2 videos later, it's like, here's the history of Emmett Till, and his mom's like, oh,
The whiplash, yeah.
Yes. It's like,
Yes, it's certain certain people I follow. I could tell what mood I've been for sure, depending on whose face pops up immediately. Whenever there's a particular guy who's a vet who also plays D&D. He's a really big leftist, and he's just like,
oh,
any
yes,
time
I
his
follow
face
that
pops
guy.
up on the screen, I'm like, oh wait, we're angry at the government. What's up?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What am I
What's
angry
going
at
on?
the government for now? Here we go.
Yeah.
In honor of Pride, I do
Be
have
good.
another Am I the Asshole that we should go. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to check in on The Rock. The Rock. I got one like from my friend Noel, but The Rock has not responded. Not even a retweet.
Shame.
Not even a retweet, man. Come on. Jason, not even a retweet. Kevin Smith, still nothing. But we'll make a list. We'll make a list.
Well, yeah, we're gonna make a list, and we'll just keep like switching through it
Yeah.
of who we're gonna hit up.
Periodically, and we'll try and figure out how we can get them on it. Am I the asshole for coming out at my sister's wedding? Yeah, okay, all right. I, a 29-year-old male, am gay, and up until last week, I haven't told my family yet. I think my family always suspected, but they never asked because being gay isn't really approved of in our family. I have 3 sisters. I don't know if these are real names or not, but they're written on here. So 36, Michelle, 35, Julia, and 22, Annie. So he's in between Julia and Annie. I've been dating Peter for a few months now, but haven't told my family yet. Michelle got married last week. During the receptions, lots of people were making toasts, including my father. He said something along the lines of, I finally have my first son-in-law, and hopefully I will soon have 2 more. Maybe someday even a daughter-in-law if Sissy Pants here mans up and gets a girlfriend. Everyone laughed except Everyone laughed except Julia, who I'm assuming knows. After the where am I? After the toasts and before dinner, Julia came over to me and asked me if I was okay. I was sad and didn't hide it all that well. I mean, yeah, I'd be sad too. I said I'm fine.
Bro.
Dad's comment just bugged me. She said to try and let it go for now, and I did. During dinner, there were many tables, and my immediate family was at one. My father starts asking me if I have a girlfriend already, if I will give him grandkids, etc. I brushed it off. Then Michelle, who just came by the table to ask my mom something, said, well, I can hook you up with a bridesmaid if you want to, unless you are wired the wrong way. Julia rolled her eyes. I'm assuming, yeah, that's brutal. I'm assuming Julia is on his team and is aware of the situation. Then my mom said to her, maybe you should have that girl, a bridesmaid, come over here. He needs to be with a woman at his age. I just lost it and said, actually, Mom, I'm gay. The whole table went silent. Some other people heard too, and Michelle started crying, saying I ruined her wedding with my awful confession. Most of my family says I'm an asshole for saying it. Then Julia's on my side and said she is perfectly fine with me being gay, and if our family doesn't want to hear it, they should have stayed quiet. Am I the asshole for ruining Michelle's wedding?
You know what? In that instance, usually I would say like keep shit like big announcements away from weddings. But bitch, you asked for it. Like you literally kept asking for it and kept opening it's like continuously opening a door and then getting angry when someone steps inside. Like,
well, it's
the hell is wrong with you?
It's not even like you push somebody through the door and be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Coming through my house?" You know, like you like. uh, they had
No, they were fine.
to.
Like they were saying bye. They were leaving something. They were trying to get out, and you yanked them in. And you're like, you're trespassing.
This poor
What
man.
the fuck is
I'm
wrong
happy
with
he
you?
knows who he is, but this poor man and his shitty family, because clearly they're homophobic and toxic
Yeah.
masculinity is a present thing, but from the father has to be, because for him to
Yeah.
say sissy pants and call him sissy pants in a speech at
In a
his
wedding
daughter's wedding, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Like
And then
that
totally,
already alone is one of those things where I'm like, that would have been an asshole. Like if a separate thing would have been like, oh, he just made a crack and he called him sissy pants in a conversation, I would be like, that's an asshole thing to do.
yeah,
To say
it's shitty.
something about someone in the middle of your fucking it's supposed to be a positive toast.
I was just
I know.
joking. Well, yeah, it's like I don't know. See, I wonder if there would have been more clever responses to that. Where like in the middle of it, if he would have been like, "Oh, hopefully I'll get a daughter-in-law," and he was like, "Nope, you're gonna get another son-in-law, Peter." You know, like I wonder what. Like, if there was like
That's what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be like, like I was expecting it to be like a quick thing, or like from the title, I thought he was gonna be like he came out like literally it's part of their toast, and I was like,
Right,
okay,
right.
talk about taking the spotlight to yourself. But
Maybe
like
we've seen too many
it being one of those
rom-coms
things where
where it's like,
Yeah.
ding, 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 I'm drunk and I have something to say.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, maybe we've seen too many of those, like, where some drunk guy could, give me this microphone. I am a sissy
another
pants.
thing.
I'm such a sissy pants that you are going to hate this.
You're gonna hate what I say next. But like
this
honestly,
next revelation
they
is going to
kept
ruin this
shining the
wedding.
spotlight on him.
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna remember, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get
no,
ready.
I honestly it's one of those things where wired the wrong way. The fuck.
Oh right.
The fuck.
I completely forgot about the wired the wrong way part. Clearly they knew. This is super fucked up.
Like
but
that
also, like,
sounds like people who knew, but like just putting something in there, like for the sister to make that crack, it's like why would that come up if you didn't suspect?
I would be curious as to, again, the culture of these people. I'm always curious about that because God knows if they feed people in their home or not. That apparently isn't a given anymore, you know?
Well, what other place uses the phrase sissy pants though? Sissy pants is very telling. It's very telling, sissy pants.
The South, I mean, it's the South, but it could be
It
are
sounds
they
like
white or black, but it could be either.
It does sound southern though with sissy pants.
It is southern.
Regardless.
It does feel so wired the wrong way. I just felt that in a southern accent.
Yeah.
I think everyone is like, no, not the asshole. They provoked him. Thank you, Yolanda. My mom, Tanya.
Yeah.
He's not the asshole. The family, in parentheses, father, were the assholes.
Yeah.
And
And if the
were
father's not
rude.
careful, and if the father's not careful, he's not only going to end up he's only going to end up with 3 son-in-laws and no son. Full stop.
Yo.
Like.
But I will say that there that when I read it too, I was expecting a declaration, like in front of the people. If you want to give your speech, then I will be happy to give my speech. You know, I just want that kind of stop the music in the middle of the fucking
Look over
party.
here.
Well, I think we did it. I think the two of us have accomplished the completion of a What's Up Bro episode. We did not get Kevin Smith. That's a bummer. We did not get The Rock.
We didn't.
Also a bummer. We did
That's a bummer.
talk about weird traumas and nostalgia for things that don't exist. And of course, we declared someone to be an asshole or not. Nery, we hope somewhere out there
As you usually do.
you
proud of
are proud. I hope you think sissy pants. I wired your internet. Thank you, Steph. Would you like to promote anything? I haven't hosted anything in a minute, so I've forgotten how to do it. I'm reverting to my old.
Yeah, to be honest, I've been doing so much stuff for our family business this year that I haven't done shit for myself, and that is weird.
You should.
Fucking
You
weird.
should.
Oh, you know what I am doing tomorrow though? For the first time ever, I am performing at my first burlesque number.
What? What are you talking about? Why are you What? What are you talking about? Why are you not
I
saying
forgot.
this is the
I
sign off
forgot
of the
to mention-
show?
I forgot to.
What
I
are you
forgot to
talking
mention
about?
this.
You're gonna perform in a burlesque routine?
Yeah, I forgot to mention this before because I didn't know how it was gonna pan out. But like, I started training and doing classes for burlesque.
What are you? What are you talking about? That's okay. Again, not to pry, but that's look. Hey, bravo. That's awesome. Congratulations.
I was terrified. I was terrified.
I was
I'm still
gonna say.
terrified. I have to go rehearse.
I was gonna say you have to perform in front of people. That is, regardless of what you're doing. I've just gotten up there and talked. So to do what you're gonna be doing, kudos, congratulations. Yeah.
Fortunately,
Clearly
this
not a
first
sissy
time I'm
pants.
doing it.
Clearly,
No,
you're not a
sissy
sissy
pants.
pants.
Nope, no pants. No pants. No pants.
Do you have a theme?
But yeah,
Do you have a costume?
Yes. Well, we're doing a number to the Arctic Monkeys knee socks. So classic white businessman shirt with black knee socks.
Oh,
And
so
then
you're doing
none of it.
and then right, and then gone.
Yeah. We're
Again.
starting risky business and then going full risky business.
Yeah.
Well,
you're
no, it's
going
still be wearing stuff underneath.
You're going Tom Cruise risky business into Rebecca De Mornay but risky
Yes.
business. Got it.
Pretty much. But yeah,
that's awesome.
I did it. Yeah, I did it. Like I'm dipping my toe in by like I'm doing a number that we're specifically filming. We're not doing it for a live audience. We're filming it. And then next semester, which I've already signed up for, I do my first chair dance. That one's going to be for people. And a thing called Nerdlesque. We're doing a number specifically inspired by Lord of the Rings.
By Lord of the Rings. One.
I get to be a sexy wraith. Sexy wraith.
What? Come on. Sometimes those nerd burlesque things, I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Look, at least it's not Shrek.
I'm a sexy Jar Jar Binks. I'm a, like, what the fuck?
There's a theme. I trust her. I trust the choreographer. She's been doing this for like.
I'm sure that sounds fun as fuck,
15 years, yeah.
And also kudos to you because that does sound like incredibly scary.
It's terrifying. It's so scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to bite the bullet and do.
You should be
things.
afraid. No.
I am though.
Yeah,
I'm terrified.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, nailed
But
it.
I'm trying to ever since I've been here, because I've been focused so much on like building this life that like I don't necessarily have to worry about once like certain things are in place. Like I got really sick of living life check to check. And I'm like, I'm going to give myself a little bit of time to put things into place so that that's ticking and I can embrace going back to my passions and not necessarily having to scrabble to live my life off of my passions and actually just enjoy them. And then anything that comes from that is still great.
Yeah. This is just
So,
the
like,
internet
that's
show
why
that
I've
we
been
do
like-
to fuck around. And that's how I like it. I'm not pushing for
like it's
followers we used to be pushing for that stuff. I do this to hang out with Nery. Nery's not here, and like I do this. It's like the whole point of this is to have some goof 'em ups and make 'em ups and have fun and then feel creative and whatever. But good for you. Good for you. You need my approval. I'm proud of you. But we gotta end the show. Thank you, everyone, for who's watching live now. Thank you to my mom and stepmom. Thank you to my wife also.
I really should have.
Yeah, thank you to.
You have such a good support system, Mike. I forgot to put the link
I'm not. Thank you. It is a genuine thank you. I'm not sarcastically thanking them. I would like to say that if you're the audio podcast listener, you're probably caught up. I mean, it's pretty. Nery's been busting his ass, but you can watch us live on the Facebook and on the YouTube and on Twitch. Oh, I did Twitch. I don't know if I'm supposed or whatever. I was in charge today and had to do it, so we're on Twitch. But you can follow, like, share, and subscribe at WUBRO Pod on everything. Follow me at Mike Mercadal. Steph, do you still have
we're at hello_my dear Watson. With the burlesque thing and like some of these things coming up, I might just start posting on that stuff again because
Sure.
I might keep that separate.
keep
I
it
might
level,
keep
but-
some things separate.
Oh, and I love
Yeah,
this.
'cause-
This is the ultimate dad comment. I was here.
Was here.
I was here as well. I was present. Even though I was
You know
quiet
what?
and not
Love
posting,
it.
I was present and I was here. It's like, yes, thanks, Dad.
Yes, this should count. This is my
This-
support. I existed.
Your presence noted.
Yes.
Perfect attendance
And
score.
appreciated.
And appreciated. Yeah, it's true. Oh, I'm playing a D&D game on Saturdays. You can watch that at at the D&D club on Twitch. And that one I'm a dragon man with magic. That's what I am.
Are you always a magic caster?
No, I'm whatever is going to be fun in my mind in that moment. And then eventually, like, you
I
start
can't
your
let go of the
character
magic.
Huh?
I can't let go of the magic. I always
No,
have
yeah.
to have magic.
Hey, bend space and time. Thank you everybody for watching. Follow at WUBROPod. Follow Nery on things. Give us money at the Cash App thing. All of whatever. All the links have been accomplished. And remember to go out. No, that's my old podcast. No, I can't say go out and be heroic. That's how winning is done. That's what it is.